Hi, I'm Danny Lipford.
And I'm Chelsea Lipford-Wolf.
Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a like and a comment.
And be sure to share with a friend, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified of new videos.
Thanks and enjoy the show.
Your roof is one of the major components of your home. This week we'll show you what's involved in replacing your roof and some of the options that are available.
Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford, the voice of home improvement, with projects, tips, and ideas to help you improve your home.
Re-roofing a home is a pretty tough job with all the carrying of the shingles up the ladder, lifting all this heavy weight, all the debris that has to be removed and hauled away, and it's a fairly noisy project too. Few homeowners would consider this a do-it-yourself friendly project. So this week we'll take you through the entire process of re-roofing a home, and we'll take you to a design center that will actually come out to your house, take a picture of your home, and then show you on a computer screen exactly what the type of material that you may select will look like on your home. It kind of takes the guesswork out of that whole selection process. We'll also share with you some tips on how to choose the right roofer to put it all together. Stay with us. Re-roofing your home is not unlike any other home improvement project. It starts with selecting the right materials. Now, in the past, when you were trying to pick the right shingle for your house, you had to choose from something about this big. And you can imagine how hard it would be to visualize what your house would look like with this color shingle. Well, nowadays things are a little easier, and there's roof design centers all over the country that will enable you to visualize exactly what a certain type of shingle or a certain color shingle will look like on your home. Recently we dropped in and spoke with Jack McAllister, a manager of one of these stores.
Well, our concept is different simply because we have a lot of choices for the consumer to make. They can come in and look at over 300 different varieties of roofing, an array of different colors, styles, and textures, and makes their decision a lot easier once they become more informed with what a roofing system's all about. When they first come in, we try to focus on what their needs are, whether it be an appearance thing that they're going for, or whether they're looking for something for longevity, whether they be interested in a shingle product or a metal product, and we kind of help them through the decision process. Once that takes place, we then go out to their home. We take digital photographs of the house. We do a very accurate measurement as to what the needs are going to be. We bring that information back. We put it into our Roofscape software, and our Roofscape software gives us the opportunity to literally show the customer exactly the way his roof's going to look once it's completed, before he makes the choice. So if a customer says, well, I'd like to see a green shingle, well, you know, maybe I don't want that. I want to see what metal would look like. We can interchange those in a matter of a few mouse clicks to make the customer feel real comfortable with the decision that he makes.
You can see where it'd be a lot easier to visualize exactly what your roof will look like once you've selected the right shingle. Now, think how hard it would be to figure out what your roof would look like from these little samples, so this certainly makes a lot of sense. You know, now more than ever, there are so many different materials that are available for your roof that it makes it a lot easier when you see all of the asphalt shingles displayed. You also have some options with metal roofing, copper, metal, and slate products of all kinds, as well as clay and concrete tiles that are available. Even some of the simulated shake shingles are all on display here. Now, some of these can get a little expensive, so you really have to do your homework on the exact selection that you want for your home. But basically, this whole concept is set up to give you a comfort level when you select the roof for your home.
Well, I think being a bricks and mortar position that we are, it does give a certain comfort level to a consumer because they can come in and we're very credentialed. You know, we have all of the insurances, both general liability and workers' compensation insurance. All of those facets come out in our presentation and make the consumer feel a little more comfortable. What's important is a roofing system, not just shingles or metal or clay or anything like that. They need to know that they have to have a good foundation, solid decking. They also need to know about the underlayment, whether it's going to be what they used to call tar paper in a 30-pound phase or one of the more elaborate underlayment products that are available in today's market. They also need to know the type of shingle and making sure that it does what the customer wants from a performance standpoint, also from an appearance standpoint. And of course, value plays a very important part in it as well.
One of Jack's customers is James Long, and he told us why he chose to purchase his new roof using the design center concept.
The reason that we came here was because here you had the ability to look at examples of shingles and how they might look on your house. Whereas if you called a roofer, the roofer could come to you and give you an estimate, but he didn't have the ability to say, hey, you know, this is what it'll look like on your house. And when we came in, we got to looking at the shingles, and they gave us an estimate, and we got an estimate from somebody else, and the prices were comparable. So once I felt like, you know, that this place here, because of the fact that they had a building where you could come and look at things, they weren't going to go away tomorrow. And I wanted somebody that could, not that the other roofer wouldn't stand behind his job, but I felt like this place probably would stand behind it a little more. They went and took pictures of my house, and then they were able to take that shingle that we had picked out and put it on the house, on the computer, and to be able to see it on the house before you ever purchased it, before you ever decided, well, yeah, this is the one I want to go with. It looked good on the computer. It looks even better in person.
What a great tool to select the right roofing material for your home. But even the best material will only serve you well if it's installed properly. Now, coming up, we're going to drop by a few homes that are being re-roofed by these guys and show you a few of the things that you need to consider when you're at that part of the process.
It's time for this week's Simple Solution from home repair expert Joe Truini.
We live in a high-tech, fast-paced world. There's no doubt about that. But I'm not sure that any of these time-saving cordless conveniences are actually making our lives any simpler. And here's a perfect example. Here's an average kitchen drawer, and it's filled with all sorts of electronic gadgets, from tools and video games to cell phones, of course. And the challenge is, how do you match the tool or the device to the correct charger? And if you don't, you can actually cause some damage. So what I've done is I went to a hardware store, and you also get these at a home center, and it's electrical tape that come in these small rolls in a wide variety of colors. I've just snipped off little strips of tape, and I've put one piece of tape on the charger and one on the device. And then when you go to plug it in, all you do is match the colors up. Here we have green tape on this particular cell phone, so you know that you've got the right device with the right charger. Now, here we're using personal devices, personal electronic devices, but this technique also works in the workshop when you're trying to match up cordless tools with their battery packs.
This week we're looking at improving your home by replacing your roof. Not the most glamorous home improvement project, but such an important one, because if you don't have a good roof on your house, you may as well not waste your time doing anything inside the home to improve it. It's so important to keep all of the elements of weather out of your home by having a good roof. Now, the owner of this house, James Long, really needed a new roof because his original roof was over 20 years old. It was curling up on its ends really badly and creating a lot of leaks throughout the entire house. So he dropped by the design center that we looked at earlier and worked with the folks there to pick out the right roofing material for his house. What he chose is a real popular choice. It's an architecturally designed asphalt shingle, which is just a little bit more than a traditional 3-tab roof, but looks so much nicer, nice texture, plenty of color, so great choice they made here. Now, when you think of a re-roofing project and re-roofing your own home, you may think about a lot of mess, a lot of noise, and a little bit of uncertainty because the roof is being removed before the new roof is being installed. But if it's done right, the process will go just as smooth as it did for these homeowners. The first step in the process was removing the old roofing material. This is critical because most manufacturers of asphalt shingles won't warranty their product if it's applied over an existing roof. Besides affecting the performance of the new roof, the old roof adds unneeded weight. These guys took off every single shingle and all of the old building felt beneath it so that they could clean and inspect the decking for possible damage. In some areas, they had to remove fairly large sections of decking and replace them with new plywood before they could begin re-roofing. The new shingles arrived just as the old roof was cleared away, and they were staged on the ridge of the roof as the new underlayment was starting to go down. For this roof, they used 30-pound builder's felt. In some cases, the shingle manufacturer will require a specific underlayment to adhere to their warranty guidelines. It's important that these kind of details are taken care of so that the roof and the warranty will hold up for a long time. Things like the amount of overlap on each piece of felt, the spacing of nails on the felt, and the number of nails in each shingle have to be considered to satisfy these warranty guidelines and building codes. Once you get past the rules, the skill of the roofers take over, making sure that the courses are nice and straight and the valleys are properly woven together. These guys also had a large enough crew to get the new roof installed quickly so that the Long's home was protected from the weather. This is a nice looking roof, and the roofers did a great job. Just look at this valley and how they cut everything nice and straight from the ridge all the way down to the eave. Also, they replaced all of the roof jacks and cut everything nice and tight all around each one of them. That's a sign of a very good roof job. Now, the selection of this type of shingle for this style house was so appropriate. It just fit in real well, and that's something you need to think about when you're selecting the roofing material for your home, is the architectural styling of the home and to make sure that the roofing will enhance that look. And that's easier now than ever before because there's so many options to choose from. While the alternate materials available today offer a variety of looks to complement different architectural styles, one of the most attractive things about them is their durability, because many last longer than asphalt shingles. This material, which mimics slate, is actually made from recycled rubber and plastic and has a 50-year warranty. It's applied in much the same way as real slate. Metal is also a very popular option in areas prone to exceptionally high winds. This coastal home is getting one of those metal roofing systems, but this one's a little different because it looks much like a traditional shingled roof. The homeowner, Bailey Dumont, told us why he chose this option.
Originally, I was thinking of trying to go with a standing seam metal roof, which is very typical in the area. But this particular house has such a large expanse of gable roof and a front rain porch roof and a shed roof on the rear with no dormers and no valleys and no gables and cupolas to interrupt that. I thought that a standing seam metal roof and galvalume or a colored roof would be too large of an extent of roof of that type. And it would dominate the house from the road as well as from the bay. So I saw this Decra product, which is essentially a standing seam type of roof. It's metal, but instead of having the metal exposed, it has a simulation pressed type of design that replicates shake or timberline type of asphalt, a high quality and asphalt looking roof.
The interlocking metal panels in this system also have a stone chip coating that protects the surface and makes them look even more like shingles, which is a real plus for a more traditional style of architecture. The combination of the rigid metal, interlocking design, and screw-down installation means that this roof will stand up to some pretty serious wind, about 120 miles per hour. It also means that the manufacturer can extend a 50-year warranty on the roof so that you won't be roof shopping again anytime soon. Whether you choose an asphalt shingle for your roof or some of the other innovative options that are available, the important thing is that it be installed properly. Now, one question I get asked from a lot of homeowners is, how do I know when it's time to replace my roof? Well, if it's leaking in several places every time it rains, then you need to think about a new roof. But there's also other subtle telltale signs that will tell you when you need a new roof. And we'll share with you some of those telltale signs and how to choose a professional roofer next.
Let's join Danny at the Home Center to check out this week's best new product.
Whether you're working on a plumbing project, making bike repairs, or assembling a grill or swing set, at some point you'll need an adjustable wrench. A manual wrench is just fine, but it leaves little room for your hand to adjust the wrench in really tight spaces like behind sink pipes. And if you're already in a tight spot, you probably can't see very well either, so that means you'll be left guessing which direction opens or closes the wrench and then manually kind of fumbling around just to adjust it. Well, one solution is the Rapid Slide wrench from Crescent. Now, it has a slide control right in the handle that eliminates all the guesswork. With the flick of a thumb, you can get the job done very quickly and easily by just sliding it forward to close or tighten the wrench and slide it back to open or to loosen the jaws. Now, the extra wide handle puts less stress on the hand and arm, and the wrench includes a shield to keep any debris from lodging in the slide mechanism. The 1-inch jaw capacity and the laser etched side markers makes it useful in both the house and the garage. And we found it for around $14. This week we're looking at the process of re-roofing your home, and I'm standing on a roof that'll need to be replaced fairly soon. You can see a newer shingle behind me here, as well as one here and another one down here that really needs to be replaced. Now this is a result of a storm that blew the shingles up and this one snapped right off. So what needs to be done, just as they've done on the rest of the roof, is to take this part of the shingle out and replace it with a brand new one. But once you get so many different patches on your roof, it might be time for a new roof. And there's some other telltale signs, such as any of the cupping and curling that takes place like we see here. And in some roofs it'll even be more pronounced than that. You also can do kind of your own little wind test or brittle test by using a flat bar to lift one of the tabs of your shingles up about 6 inches, then just let it drop. If it lays back down nice and flat, that means the shingle is still fairly pliable and means you can probably have a few more years left in your roof. But if it cracks or creases, then it's time to really look closely at a brand new roof. What happens is the fiberglass mat that's between the two layers of asphalt within the shingle deteriorates, and this is the result. Now, one thing you can do to ensure you get the most life out of your roof is to make sure you have proper attic ventilation. With inadequate attic ventilation, you actually bake the bottom of the shingles, and it can reduce the life of a shingled roof by up to 1/3. Good attic ventilation requires a way for fresh, cool air to enter the attic and hot air to escape. Since warm air rises, the place for it to escape is at or near the top of the roof. Ridge vents are an ideal way to accomplish this because they are at the highest point of the roof, so warm air naturally exits here. Gable vents are also a great place for warm air to escape and can be made more effective by adding an exhaust fan in the attic. Power ventilators and roof turbines are also exhaust options. When warm air exits the top of the attic, it creates somewhat of a natural draw from the bottom so that the soffit area is the perfect place to introduce this needed cool air. Soffit vents come in a variety of shapes and sizes and should be positioned around the perimeter of the home so all areas of the roof benefit from the cool air. A professional roofer can advise you on whether or not your home has adequate attic ventilation. Now, how do you find that professional roofer if you don't have a design center in your neighborhood? Well, you need to ask around a lot of business associates and friends for the right roofer, and then make sure you ask the right questions. One of the first ones is about the kind of insurance they carry. For your own protection, you want a roofer who has both general liability and workman's compensation insurance. Next, ask what, if any, certifications they have from the manufacturers of the products they install. This is a good sign that the work will be done right. Finally, ask for references from their past customers and look at some of the work they've done. At this point in your re-roofing project, you'll be glad you took your time and chose the right professional to put it all together. Now, another source to find some good quality roofers is your local Home Builders Association. They have an associate list that will include roofers in your area that do a good job. Another source is a local roofing material supplier that sells a lot of the shingles and supplies to the roofers. They also know who's doing the quality work.
Let's head outside for Around the Yard with lawn and garden expert Tricia Craven-Worley.
Sometimes we create brown compacted spots in our lawns in areas that we tread between the house and the garden shed or the garage. Now, if you have a small area like this, it's easy for you to fix. And what you want to do is aerate that area. Now, here I've got a garden fork, and if you stick it in about 4 inches and rock it back and forth as if it were a pump or something like that, a jack, that's going to open up the soil. This is another really handy tool, and what it does is it pulls plugs out. Now, this all works very well for a small area, and as you can see, when the air and the water get in, the area will start to green up. But if you have a large area, you probably are going to do a mechanical aeration. And so when the machine comes in, you want to make sure that the area is marked with little flags that shows where the wires go. Also, if you have a water feature in your garden, this is very important too, because unless you have those wires marked, you might chip or nick them, and then nothing's going to work, and you'll not have that green lawn that you really wanted.
I hope we were able to share with you some information and some tips that'll help you when you're faced with having to re-roof your house. You know, I remember as a young contractor how I had to do almost every kind of work in order to stay busy, and I re-roofed a lot of houses during that time. I still think I can help these guys out, maybe by carrying a few bundles up. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to like, comment, and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified of new videos.
And be sure to click around and watch some more videos while you're here.